Alright, getting closer on this. I got the bottom torsion arms basically put on there. I had to get a new jam nut. Let's see, hopefully this is the right one. This one right here. See if it goes on here. Let's see. Yeah, sure does. Great. So I had already torqued this down about as far as I could. Yep. So then, I'm just gonna do the jam nut. So, let's see. That's a 19. Nope. This is a 19. Huh. I got a bigger one here. Well. Alright, well I found a jam nut, but it has some damage on the side, but it's not really that damaged, so I'm going to go ahead and just use it. I can show the damage this nut has. Yeah, right there. You see how it's, see how the bottom of it is just a little bit mangled, but I don't think it's gonna matter. For my purposes here is just to, you know, it holds that Allen bolt down. So I'm gonna do this with my long breaker bar. It is not coming off, I'll tell you that much. So, here we go. So, I also put a new one of these grease nipples there, so I'm going to pump a bunch of grease in there now. Let's see. Grease gun. This doesn't need to be. Let's see. All right, good enough. Now let's grease it up till some comes out there. All right, see here, some oozing out. So let's get rid of this excess. That off of there. Oops, and some more excess over here. All right. Just have to grease this side as well. All right, well, I've got in these lower torsion arms, upper torsion arms, and then I've put on these spindles and the steering mechanism where I have my jam nut, and I put this about halfway down so that I can adjust it. It definitely needs adjusting. So I have ordered a new kit of these, what do you call them, link pins or whatever. I didn't order a new kingpin, but the link pins, I didn't have some of the pieces for the inside there, so I'm waiting on that. And then, and that's on both sides. So over here also looks good. I just have it set in place now with the old link pins. So as soon as I get that, I will sort of put these in more permanently and grease this up. I got the shocks now in place. What I need are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I probably want 8 new of these little lock washers that are here, because 2 of them were broken and a couple of them are missing. So I just have them set in place to be roughly the way they're gonna look. But I just need those sort of machine lock washers. So I need to make a list of these little tiny parts I need. All right, but other than that, the steering mechanism is in. This lock plate is a little bit broken, but I think that, you know, if I get this bent down on it, I think it'll be fine. So the other lock plates are all good, and so just waiting on some parts. You know, I order some parts and then I have to wait a couple of days, and I could just probably drive down to my local VW place, but then I'd be there every single day hounding them for these parts. All right, that's the progress. I'm gonna put a coat of, I'm not sure if people think that's good or not, but basically I've been putting a coat of rust reformer on here first. That just, you know, and then I put a coat of just black gloss on there. I'm gonna sort of do that on this area here and probably tape off the places that I don't want to get hit by that. But, you know, that just kind of makes the whole front end look black, and I think it gives it a little bit of protection. But I gotta clean off a lot of grime with mineral spirits and everything to get that to paint to stick. All right, well, I cleaned off the plates, scrubbed them down as best I could and wire brushed them, and so then I put some little piece of paper into the adjuster hole so that I didn't get any paint in there, and then I sprayed black rust reformer on them. The other thing I did is I cleaned off the 4 adjusters here, so these all look great, and those are all reusable. So that means that as soon as I get my link pins here, and I have to get the lock washers for on here, as soon as I get that in there and I tighten these down, torsion arms to tighten the spindles down, and then I'm going to hit these with also the black rust reformer. Just go over this with a rag with mineral spirits, and I'll tape this off so that I don't get it on some of these parts. Just get a little bit of rust reformer on there, tape this off, and then I can take my new plates, new meaning newly painted, and stick them on here, and then I can wait for my bearings to arrive and my new brake, what do you call them, the cylinders. Then I should be able to connect, you know, the brake cylinders into my new brake lines and start to assemble these wheels, you know, with the bearings and brakes and everything. And you know, I have to go and get my tires set up. I have 2 more tires, and I'm still evaluating this deck lid, and that I already did the 65 deck lid. It looks great. And this deck lid, which then has the appropriate handle end here, this is you know, fits the 61. So I really should do this one. So I think what I'm gonna do is you know, prep this one in terms of stripping all this paint off, and I'll get the deck lid and my fenders and my sort of bonnet painted Lotus white, and then I'll kind of stick them upstairs and out of the way while I do the body work. So I'm going to do the I ordered heater channels, and so I'm going to have to I don't know if I'll weld something into place or get something here where I'm going to hold this gap to be to be good while I weld in the new heater channels. That I've never done before, and so you know, it should be an adventure. And then I can get in here once I have the heater channels. You know, I'll get all the fenders painted, all the deck lid and the hood, and then I'm gonna get the heater channels in, and then I'm just gonna go around and I'm going to fix the remaining metal issues that I know I have, and that I know this needs to be bent out and probably this back quarter panel put in. I know that I have an issue, you know, I have an issue here, and I have this one here, which I have actually cut a piece of metal from my old 66 before I trashed it. And it looks like this. And so that's just so that I have somewhat of a curve to weld into place here. And I think that's gonna be easier to use this thing than it would have been for me to try to make a piece just by bending it. So there's that one. Then I've got this piece here. That should be fairly straightforward. I'm just gonna make a little rectangular piece and grind this down and try to weld that into place. And that'll all get a little bit of Bondo on top of it to make it look good. Yeah, the real challenge is gonna be redoing these heater channels, because that is seems to be a pretty big job. But look at that rust. That's really the only real problem that I've got is the rust there, and then I've got another piece right there that I'm gonna have to patch. And then I should be able to start stripping this down, sanding it down, and getting Lotus white on a lot of these surfaces. Another thing that I did is I got some of the bumper mount, what do you call it, weld-in screws. So like, for example, I have an area here where I'm missing some of my fender sort of receiver threads, and I'm gonna weld those into place. This is the thing that I'm not so sure about. I have to bash this up about 3/4 of an inch or maybe an inch and possibly weld in this new piece. So I don't know, we're gonna see how that goes. This area is not great, and I'm not gonna mess with it until I get the heater channel in, so I can see what all is left to do under here. You know, this is also not looking very good, so I might have to just cut 2 or 3 inches and just weld something into place there and see if I can get that to look decent. I don't think I need to order a whole quarter panel for that. All right.